This leads your bulletin. Advocate Charles Mnisi, that's the lawyer for accused number 3 in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, has accused Sgt Batho Mogola of being dishonest. She is one of the investigators in the case and is being cross-examined in the High Court in Pretoria.
Mr. Buthelezi told the court exactly what you told the court on how and what items were found on Mr. Sibiya when he was arrested, as per your testimony in the trial within the trial. He confirmed what you said in the trial within the trial, that in the possession of accused number 3, accused number 1, ammunition, a magazine, and a cleaning rod that were found in his possession. That confirmed what you also said in your testimony in the trial within the trial. Do you understand?
I understand.
He did not mention that they also found cell phones in possession of accused number 1. Could he also have forgotten, as you had forgotten, to mention that in your evidence in a trial within a trial?
Please, with due respect, may you please ask that question to Constable Buthelezi.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to request the state to call him, so that I'm going to ask him that question. But briefly, let me put it to you, ma'am, that you are being dishonest with the court when you testified in this main trial that when you arrested accused number 1, being assisted by Mr. Buthelezi, you also found cell phones in his possession.
My Lord, there were 2 cell phones, my Lord, that were found in possession of accused number 2. There is also, my Lord, SAP-13, my Lord, to confirm that.
Well, that sitting of the High Court in Pretoria has just adjourned for lunch as we started the 1 o'clock hour of Daytime Update. Let's bring you back to studio and to our reporter Linda Mnisi, who joins us here at the Red Desk. Linda, you and I have been sitting here together listening to the proceedings of the past hour or so, and they were quite spicy, weren't they? There were allegations of investigating officers not doing their jobs, of not investigating thoroughly, and at worst, of being dishonest.
Absolutely, Michelle. And, you know, the issue around dishonesty comes from the fact that Sgt Mogola omitted that when she effected the arrest of accused number 1, Sibiya, she did not disclose that she found or they seized cell phones from him. Those cell phones you would have heard last week. The analysis was conducted on particular phones, but now she did not indicate or tell the court during the trial within a trial. And now it's coming out, and what she says in defense of, you know, why she did not disclose that information is that she does not have any particular reason why she did not disclose that information, but there is proof that cell phones were seized in the form of an SAP-13. This is when the phones were seized and the information was logged into, you know, that exhibit bag as to what was seized from the accused person. So Advocate Mnisi now saying that you are changing, you're tailoring your version to suit, you know, what you have been saying. So you're being dishonest.
There were quite a few moments as well where she chose, and not just today, over the past few days of her testimony, where she chose as a response to say no comment. And her reasoning for that is that many of the questions being put to her really fall under the competencies of the lead investigator in this case. What do we know, Linda, about how the process of investigating a case like this works? I mean, if I am an investigating officer, for example, does it stand to reason that if I came onto the case 4 years after the murder itself, that I wouldn't go back and interview the people who were apparently in the house on the night of Senzo Meyiwa's murder, which she didn't do, right?
Yeah. So what we're getting from this particular case is that there was a lead investigator, according to what the investigating officers have told the court. There was a lead investigator who delegated tasks to his subordinates, and that would be in the form of Sgt Mogola and Sgt Mogola. And what she's saying is that essentially she would be commanded to perform certain tasks. She would not know whether or not certain members have visited the Meyiwa family, for example, or even interviewed certain witnesses. What she knows is that she was tasked to obtain the statement of Mthokozisi Twala, and she acted in line with what her senior would delegate to her. Certain things she's not aware of because she was not briefed. There were briefings that she would get and briefings that were in line with what she had to do. And one then, would think that it depends then on the kind of strategy that that particular team would have in terms of the investigations. And that is why she refers some questions to the lead investigator, Brigadier Bongani Gininda.
Yeah.
And if we listen and we go back to the evidence of Brigadier Gininda in the trial, within the trial, he did detail how the investigations took place and how they came to know that the suspects are the ones that are before court now through intelligence information that was obtained by the late Sergeant Mabena. A cold case analysis was conducted. They found that the accused persons were not only involved in the Senzo Meyiwa case, but had also other cases that remained unresolved. So investigations continued. They were arrested for other crimes before they were even arrested for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. It's in fact interesting and something that the defense has been pursuing for a very long time, that these people were unlawfully arrested, in that they were arrested for the Senzo Meyiwa case, but they were not officially charged. They were only officially charged in October, but the state says they were only charged in October, and that is why they made their first appearance on the anniversary of Senzo Meyiwa's murder back in 2020. That was in October the 26th.
Yeah. Accused number 3 for his part, because we've had Advocate Charles Mnisi dominating the cross-examination in court for the better part of today. But accused number 3 himself is currently imprisoned on a separate murder charge. He's been found guilty, the murder of an Alexandra taxi boss.
Yeah.
Longwe Twala has described the intruder as someone who was dark. He's also described the type of firearm the intruder apparently had. He says the intruder had a revolver. What Advocate Mnisi is trying to do is to discredit the information, the testimony of Longwe Twala. He's trying to build a case around the fact that, according to him and according to his client, he wasn't even there on the night that Senzo Meyiwa was killed.
Yeah, he's essentially trying to discredit the descriptions that have been given, and that those descriptions match his client. And if you go back to the testimony of the occupants of the house, I'm talking about Zandi Kumalo, Longwe Twala, Mthokozisi Twala as well. They said that when the alleged intruders entered the house, Longwe Twala ran out of the house. Longwe Twala has not yet testified. We're hearing that they might subpoena him when the defense case starts. But that was the explanation that was given. But Advocate Mnisi is saying that in his statement he gives a contradictory description of what his client is. And for the very first time, we're hearing issues, or in fact his version. But before he gave us his version, they went and challenged the firearm to say the firearm is stated in a number of statements that in other instances, the witness said it had a wheel. The other one said it was a revolver. And we know that the state, according to the state, a 9mm was used in this particular case. And what they've argued was that if it was a revolver, it wouldn't have left a cartridge. A cartridge was left, and that was used then to then do analysis, ballistic analysis on the firearm, which then matched the firearm that killed Senzo Meyiwa. You'll remember the ballistics testimony is yet to be cross-examined, pending, of course, the finalization of the consultation with their own ballistics experts. So he's trying to put that and then putting his version, because ultimately what the state is saying here, Michelle, is that the person that had the firearm that shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa was accused number 3. the descriptions that were given match accused number 3. So he's trying to rebut that particular evidence, because you'll also remember how the firearm was recovered. It was back in 2015 when he was being arrested for the murder of the Alexandra taxi boss that they recovered that particular firearm. It was taken for analysis, and, as, the ballistic expert explained, that it was then further tested with what was recovered from the scene, and it matched.
Yeah, absolutely. Linda, listen, there are a lot of moving parts to this case. I'm glad you're the one keeping track of all of it for us.